The Art of Self-Improvement. 10 Timeless Truths by Anna Katharina Schaffner is a scholarly yet accessible exploration of self-improvement, a practice that has captivated human thought for millennia. Far from being a modern invention tied to the multi-billion-dollar self-help industry, Schaffner argues that self-improvement is a timeless endeavor, rooted in ancient wisdom from cultures across the globe, including ancient China, Greece, and India. As a professor of cultural history at the University of Kent, Schaffner brings a unique perspective, blending historical analysis with philosophical and psychological insights to uncover 10 core ideas or timeless truths, but have shaped self-improvement practices across cultures and eras. These truths are not prescriptive rules, but recurring themes that emerge from a vast body of advice literature, from ancient texts to modern self-help books. By tracing their evolution, Schaffner reveals how these ideas remain relevant today, serving as barometers of societal values, anxieties, and aspirations while exposing fundamental assumptions about human purpose and nature. The book is not a conventional self-help manual, but a critical and reflective examination of self-improvement's historical roots, cultural transformations, and enduring appeal. It encourages readers to engage with these ideas thoughtfully, recognizing their strengths and limitations, and to approach self-improvement with a nuanced understanding rather than chasing quick fixes. Schaffner begins by challenging the notion that self-help is a byproduct of neoliberalism and capitalism. While the modern self-help industry, with its focus on self-optimization and efficiency, often reflects these ideologies, she demonstrates that the impulse to improve oneself is ancient and universal. Philosophers, sages, and theologians from Lao Tzu to Stoics like Marcus, earliest to modern thinkers, have long grappled with questions of how to live a good life and devise strategies to achieve it. This historical sensibility is one of the book's primary strengths, as it situates self-improvement within a broader context, showing that there is nothing new under the sun. Each of the 10 timeless truths is explored through its historical antecedents, its manifestations in contemporary culture, and the balance between extremes of too much and too little. Schaffner's approach is both analytical and engaging, drawing on diverse sources from Buddhist teachings to Disney's Frozen to Nietzsche's philosophy to illustrate how these truths have been interpreted and sometimes distorted over time. The book's structure, organized around these 10 truths, creates a four-dimensional matrix that connects historical, cultural, psychological, and philosophical dimensions, making it a formidable contribution to the literature on self-improvement. The first timeless truth, know yourself, is rooted in the Delphic maxim inscribed at the Temple of Apollo and echoed in Socratic philosophy. Schaffner explores how self-knowledge has been a cornerstone of self-improvement, from ancient Greek injunctions to modern psychological practices like journaling or therapy. However, she highlights the tension between knowing one's desires and blindly pursuing them, noting that naive pursuit can serve prevailing ideologies rather than one's true interests. For example, the modern emphasis on following your passion may align with consumerist values rather than genuine self-understanding. Schaffner encouraged a reflective approach, urging readers to question what they are supposed to want and to seek a deeper understanding of their desires and identity. The second truth, control your mind, draws on Stoic and Buddhist traditions that emphasize mastering thoughts and emotions to achieve inner peace. From Epictetus' teachings on focusing only on what is within our control to modern cognitive behavioral therapy, this truth underscores the power of mental discipline. Schaffner examines how this idea has been adapted in contemporary self-help, such as mindfulness practices, but warns of distortions, like the oversimplification of complex emotional states into positive thinking mantras. She advocates for a balanced approach that acknowledges the complexity of the mind while fostering resilience. Let it go. The third truth resonates with teachings from Buddhism and Stoicism, as well as modern pop culture. It emphasizes releasing attachment to outcomes, desires, or grievances to achieve freedom and clarity. Schaffner traces this idea from Lao Tzu's concept of Wu Wei to contemporary mindfulness movements, cautioning against extremes like apathy or suppression of valid emotions. She suggests that letting go, when practiced thoughtfully, can alleviate suffering and foster acceptance without passivity. The fourth truth, be good, shifts the focus to ethical self-improvement, a priority in ancient philosophies and theological traditions. Schaffner contrasts the ancient emphasis on cultivating virtues, such as justice, courage, and compassion, with modern self-help's focus on personality enhancement, like becoming more charismatic or assertive. She argues that this shift reflects a broader cultural move from character building to self-optimization, likening the latter to upgrading a machine. While acknowledging the value of modern approaches, she critiques their tendency to prioritize superficial traits over moral depth, urging readers to consider ethical goodness as a core component of self-improvement. Be humble, the fifth truth, draws on religious traditions like Christianity and Confucianism, which value humility as a path to wisdom and connection. Schaffner explores how humility counters the ego-driven aspects of modern self-help, such as the pursuit of fame or status. She critiques movements that equate self-improvement with self-aggrandizement, advocating for a balance that recognizes personal worth without arrogance. The sixth truth, simplify, reflects the wisdom of minimalism found in figures like Diogenes the Cynic and modern minimalists who advocate decluttering physical and mental spaces. Schaffner critiques the snobbish and irksome extremes of minimalism, such as performative simplicity, but praises its potential to reduce distractions and foster clarity. She connects this truth to historical practices of asceticism and contemporary trends like Marie Kondo's tidying philosophy, emphasizing balance to avoid deprivation. Use your imagination, the seventh truth, highlights the role of visualization and creativity in self-improvement. From ancient Stoic exercises of negative visualization to modern vision boards, Schaffner shows how imagination shapes goals and resilience. She warns against escapist fantasies or unrealistic expectations, advocating for a disciplined use of imagination to inspire action and adaptability. The eighth truth, persevere, celebrates the universal value of persistence, from Confucius's emphasis on diligence to modern grit-based psychology. Schaffner examines how perseverance is lionized in self-help literature, but cautions against blind stubbornness, advocating for a balance that includes flexibility and self-awareness. She illustrates this with historical examples, like the Stoics' endurance through adversity and modern stories of overcoming setbacks. Mentalize, the ninth truth, refers to the ability to understand one's own mind and the perspectives of others, a concept rooted in ancient empathy practices and modern psychological theories. Schaffner connects this to Aristotelian ethics and contemporary emotional intelligence, noting its role in fostering relationships and self-awareness. She critiques the neglect of this truth in some self-help narratives that prioritize individual achievement over social connection. The final truth, be present, emphasizes mindfulness and living in the moment, a principle found in Buddhist teachings and Stoic practices. Schaffner traces its modern resurgence in mindfulness apps and meditation trends, using the example of Buddhist teachings to demonstrate its timelessness. However, she warns of distortions, such as the commodification of mindfulness into a quick fix for stress, advocating for a deeper, more intentional practice. Schaffner's analysis is both erudite and engaging, weaving together historical texts, philosophical insights, and modern examples with a personal yet scholarly tone. She draws on an impressive range of sources, from Lao Tzu to Nietzsche to Disney, making the book accessible and entertaining. Reviewers praise its staggering research and its ability to renew thinking about familiar ideas, with one calling it a formidable contribution to self-improvement literature. The book's strength lies in its refusal to fully endorse or dismiss self-help, instead offering a balanced critique that uncovers redeemable truths while exposing false claims. Schaffner's historical approach reveals how self-improvement reflects the dominant ideologies of its time, such as the shift from virtue-based cultivation to today's focus on efficiency and personality. This insight encouraged readers to question cultural expectations, like the pressure to become more extroverted when introversion may align with one's nature. However, the book is not without flaws. Some reviewers criticize Schaffner's misinterpretation of Christian concepts, particularly original sin, arguing that she wrongly suggests it implies human nature is inherently flawed or bad troppo. This misstep, along with her omission of key psychological figures, suggests a selective engagement with modern self-help. Additionally, A reviewer on Goodreads condemns her claim that Jordan B. Peterson writes primarily for white men as a biased and inaccurate generalization, reflecting a potential ideological slant that undermines her objectivity. The narrative can also feel dry at times, particularly in its dense historical sections, though Schaffner's engaging references to popular culture mitigate this. The book's key messages are profound. Self-improvement is a universal human endeavor with deep historical roots, but its modern forms often reflect cultural biases toward optimization and superficial success. Schaffner urges readers to approach self-improvement with critical reflection, drawing on time-honored wisdom to balance personal growth with ethical and social considerations. She emphasizes that no single strategy guarantees success, as self-improvement is deeply personal and context-dependent. The 10 Truths offer a framework for understanding this complexity, encouraging practices like meditation and mindfulness while warning against fleeting trends. By highlighting the interplay of values, anxieties, and ideologies, Schaffner invites readers to redefine improvement in terms of character, connection, and meaning rather than societal metrics of success. In conclusion, The Art of Self-Improvement is a revelatory exploration of human aspiration, blending historical depth with critical insight. It challenges readers to engage with self-improvement thoughtfully, recognizing its timeless truths while questioning modern distortions. Despite minor criticisms, the book's erudite yet accessible style and its call for balanced, reflective self-cultivation make it a valuable resource for anyone seeking to navigate the complex landscape of personal growth.